Myanmar's military is moving against Aung San Suu Kyi's political party. The National League for Democracy is to be abolished after being accused of election fraud. Now, that claim has been rejected by independent observers.
Anti-coup protests continue across Myanmar, even if they are smaller in size, after a violent military crackdown. But the movement has been dealt another blow. The Election Commission now says Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy will be dissolved. Its repeated claims that the NLD rigged last year's polls to secure a landslide victory. It says those involved are traitors and action will be taken against them. It's become increasingly hard to verify news out of Myanmar due to the army's internet restrictions. But this Japanese reporter, who was detained in a Yangon jail, has shared tales of torture. Yuki Kitazumi says prisoners were beaten with sticks and forced to kneel for long hours. Some were interrogated for days without rest. Mr. Kitazumi was detained while covering the protests. Myanmar says the decision to release him was to reconcile its relationship with Japan, one of its biggest donors. But Tokyo is losing patience. It says it will freeze all aid if the situation does not get any better.
Leong Wai-kit joins us live now for more. Wai-kit, how will the dissolution of the NLD affect any possibility of a return to democracy in Myanmar?
Well, in theory, it's the end of the road for NLD, not just as a party, but also for lawmakers who were elected under that banner. And even if the NLD were to go underground to revamp itself, to change its leaders, it's not going to be easy. Its very top leaders are now in jail. Its current batch of leaders are now being targeted by the Myanmar army. And even fresh blood outside of NLD who show promise of leadership, they are likely to be under the radar of the Myanmar army. And also, let's not forget that when Ms. Aung San Suu Kyi was in power in the last 5 years, grooming leaders and succession planning weren't part of her priorities. But that is in theory. Realistically, you just need to look at what's happening in Myanmar every day. You've seen on your TV screens earlier, people still going out to protest. And the fact that civilians are now starting to take up arms to fight the Myanmar army, those are very visual reminders that people want democracy. To quote an NLD official, a senior official who spoke to me before he was arrested, he says that the Myanmar army has firepower, but the NLD has people's power. But at this point, I'll also need to share with you the army's side of the story. Since February, the state paper now run by the army has been publishing evidence of electoral fraud. It has highlighted examples such as discrepancies of ballot paper numbers as well as voter list errors. They say that names of people have appeared all over the place in various townships. And days leading to this decision to abolish the NLD, it seems that the state media has also stepped up its coverage. Now they're also publishing photos of officials pouring through documents as if looking for electoral fraud evidence.
At the same time, Wai-kit, Ms. Suu Kyi, detained since February the 1st, is expected to appear in court in person for the first time soon.
Yeah, that is potentially a huge development with a huge question mark. Will she not appear in person? That's the big question, because even her slated online court appearances previously had been delayed various times. Now, there are not a lot of details surrounding this planned in-person appearance. Sources say that she may be brought to a makeshift court near to where she's currently being detained. But again, everyone is watching with their breaths held because of the potential that this could still be delayed. And if it does happen, if Ms. Suu Kyi does appear in person, a lot will also depend on her lawyers, who will have to convey to the world what they saw, what they heard in court.
Wai-kit, thank you. Leong Wai-kit there with the latest on developments in Myanmar.